Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is September 29th, 2014, and today is Monday. So looking at the economic calendar for today, starting off with a very light number, a Germany CPI number today at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock South African time. But there are some consistent news that's coming out today, so just in general, the euro should be in play. Looking at the euro, it's gotten really beaten up over the past 3 months. As we could look here, debacle of almost 1,300 pips down. This is a major move. We're touching on, as we saw before, we're touching on this support here, this anticipated support, but we broke through it. Okay, last Wednesday, last Thursday, Friday. We have broken that now. We've reached that, and now we're at the next support at 126.84. This is, I would say, a little bit stronger support. This was a reverse head and shoulders, and you see that it's been repeated this area several times. So ultimately, we're calling it a bottom. I don't know that we are calling it a bottom, but I would say 126-ish is a good place to consolidate for this pair. Ultimately, I have to look at it and just wait and see what it's going to do in order to take that next step. But as we, this was a little bit hard because I would have anticipated this to be somewhat of a support right here. Once it breached it though, and it continued breaching it, there's no reason to hold on to it. So that's something that you have to be more selective as a trader when you're picking bottoms. And I always say, no fans to picking bottoms and saying, okay, it's not going to go further down. There's no reason for it not to go down to 121, for example. So, but if you do see that it does consolidate and it does firm up without, maybe a couple of weeks that it firms up in this area and you're looking to buy it, maybe that would be a play. But ultimately, it has been very weak as it just, debacle 1,300 points, 1,300 pips since the beginning of the year. Looking at the USD Japanese yen, so we're just hitting highs and highs and highs. I mean, we're just really, looking at some of the crosses. The USD has just gotten much stronger across the board, as we can see here, and we're hovering just below the 110 level. I believe we have a resistance on a monthly level of 110-ish around right here. So, this thing could, if it doesn't break 110, okay, which is a major number, I would say that it could continue going up even higher. But, keep an eye on it for any sort of retracements and so on and so forth to see what we can do in order to maximize the upside. All right, so looking at the GBPUSD, we had mentioned this, that it debacled a couple of weeks ago, and then it bounced a little bit. We see that bounce, and now it's retracing back. The question is it going to be consolidating at these levels, or is it going to be taking off? So you really have to pay attention to it and keep an eye on it. The GBP has been beaten up relative to the dollar, as everything else has that we just mentioned. So keep an eye on it as well. Looking at the Aussie USD, looking at an 8-hour chart, we're fell out of bed. Okay, this almost looks like the Euro USD. We are again hitting multiple areas where we're hitting support levels. So this is another thing I'd like to point out. When you see that the USD is hitting multiple support or resistance levels in many different currencies, that could add more credence to support. Well, maybe we are actually heading to a somewhat of a support, but we had a little bit of a support here, and you see that it broke. But in essence, you have to look for it and you have to be in it to win it. But I'm not saying to pick the bottoms again. It's not a high probability trade to pick bottoms. But you see that everything is in play with the Euro USD, with the USD crosses. Okay. Looking at the USD ZAR, also 125, we're just hovering just below its all-time low of 135, 130. So again, keep an eye on it. especially you guys down in South Africa, this is a little bit more hits home. So I would continue to keep an eye on it. If it does break this 130 level, there's no reason it can't take 1150. So that's another point. All right. Looking at the gold is just a little bit bouncing here. Looking at a 4-hour chart, just today, this morning, just bounced a little bit from 112, 113. Excuse me. As you know, it's been beaten up quite harshly over the past year, as we see here, and we're just hovering a little bit above the low of last year. So, we are consolidating in this area. So, like we mentioned, when it's consolidating, there's not much to do. If it does break on the upside, then you could buy a little bit. Maybe it'll go up to 1240, 1250. But if it doesn't and it breaks below this 1215, 1212-ish area, maybe we can retest this 1200, 1190 area. Looking at the Dow Jones, it's been quite a week last week. Alibaba went public just a week and a half ago, so things have been quite a rocket for the markets. We were traced down to 6,900, bounced off of it. We're hovering under the 17,1100. Right here in the middle, I would keep an eye on how things unfold in the markets this week. Maybe not to trade on a Monday, but to see how things unfold for the rest of the week and to pick your spots. If we break above this 17,140, maybe we could retest these highs of 17,200, 17,300 area. This is Razak at CMTrading. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thanks.